all separately, we'll have to report on them separately. And so that's been good. All of that's in place and is working well. But it's just there was a lot of work that had to go into putting the processes in place and really figuring out how we could spend it and on what students were eligible.
Mm-hmm. It sounds complicated, but thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, it's probably way too complicated than it should have been, but yes, it was somewhat complicated.
Yeah,
but I think we've got it going pretty well here for that, and I think our students are getting some of that money that they need. And the checks have to be written directly to students from us or deposited straight into their bank account.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks for explaining that. Well, we are, as you said, Mark, almost a week into summer school. Sheila, can you tell us how summer instruction is taking place? How's that going?
Well, so far so good. The only students who are on campus are our health science students and our technical programs, welding, machining. We're requiring students to sign an attestation form indicating that they don't have a fever, they've not been sick, and we aren't requiring masks, but we are suggesting masks, and our faculty are wearing masks. So we are social distancing in the labs, in the classrooms, and I have not heard any complaints, so I'm going to take that as a good sign.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Okay, so summer school is underway on there at RCC. Let's talk about how you're preparing for that fall semester. What's it going to look like?
Well, Mike, I'll talk a little bit about facilities and let Sheila talk from the academic side. But
sure,
this is something that all colleges, universities across the country are grappling with, as I'm sure you are aware of. And it's just we're trying to. The first and foremost, most important, is we want to make sure that our students, our faculty and staff that we're creating as safe an environment as we possibly can. Now, we will return to in-person instruction this fall, and Sheila can talk to you about that, but it's going to present some challenges. But I think as I mentioned, we're going to be meeting in a few minutes to iron out some of these things. But from a facility standpoint, as I'd already mentioned a few minutes ago, we have ordered protective shields for those areas where we are dealing with students face-to-face, and social distancing is not easy. In some offices, for example, at our reception desk across the campus, places like our bookstore, those types of places, we will put up protective shields similar to what you're seeing out there in the business world.
Mm-hmm.
We have ordered a mask that we will have available for students, faculty, and staff. As of right now, we're not going to require it, but we will have those available for those who want to wear them. And then we already had sanitizing liquid in little dispensers throughout our facilities. They're on the walls in different places, of course, in our restrooms. But we purchased some that will go on stands that will be at the entrances to all of our buildings. We're going to put up. We're ordering a lot of additional sanitizing supplies to distribute across campus. Then we're going to be putting up a lot of signs on campus for reminding people to wash their hands, to maintain social distance. Because, Mike, this virus, from what I can get from it and listening to the medical community, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, it may dissipate some, but it's going to be out there until we have an immunity built up to it, or we have, a vaccine or a cure, and that's not going to happen between now and August when we start classes. So we're going to have to be very mindful of still social distancing ourselves as best we can. We will go to all of our classrooms and set those up so that chairs are 6 feet apart. And that I think Mike and Sheila can talk more about this, but the days, or at least in the foreseeable future, the days of having a classroom that seats 30 and we put 30 in it, is probably not going to happen. So we're going to have to figure out a way to have fewer students in our classrooms. If that means taking a class that has 30 in it and trying to split it into two sections where you'll have 15 apiece, we may have to do that. Or we'll do some kind of way of having more online, or maybe from a hybrid standpoint. As I say, Sheila can talk more about it, but we're going to have to social distance ourselves and continue to do that throughout the fall, as the medical community is reminding us that that this thing could come back, and we want to be in a better position to try to reduce the spread of it. So it's going to be different. There's no question about it.
Well, just kind of tagging onto what you're saying, we're going through this and we're learning a lot, and we are going to be in a better position when things like this happen again, it sounds like.
Well, that's a lot of the design of some of the stimulus money to colleges and universities is we want to be in a better position. But, Mike, you think about it, even for flu season, some of what we're learning from this is going to be applicable. And so I think we're going to learn some things from this that we can certainly help ourselves going down the road. Even once there's a vaccine for this, the flu and things like that are still out there. And some of this social distancing and, of course, washing our hands and better sanitizing supplies, all those things are all – I think we've learned that those things are important. They have a place even once we figure this virus out.
Sure. What do you think the impact of all of this will have on fall enrollment?
Well, we're worried about that one. And I tell you what I think is going to happen, Mike, across the community college system. Anytime unemployment is high, then usually community college enrollment goes up. Now, that may not happen immediately because I think you're still going to have people that are a little bit unsure about getting back out and getting close to other people in a classroom setting. And that may hurt us initially. And it depends on how unemployment benefits play out. But I think eventually our enrollment will go up. And this is unusual because this is not a recession so much as it's event-driven. And there's not a big history on how these things happen. So we're not sure about the immediate fall enrollment. We're down right now, but there's some reasons for that. But I think we'll end up okay. But I think at some point our enrollment's going to go up. It's just a matter of, is it going to be the fall? Is it going to be spring? Is it going to be the following fall? But I think it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. We'll look for that encouraging time for sure. I want to get back to you, Sheila. I know we've covered some of the things we certainly wanted to talk about. Is there anything else that we should be discussing while we have a moment?
Well, I'd like to just circle back to the fall semester. So we're looking at dismantling the entire fall semester and rethinking how we schedule courses. I'm asking our faculty to prepare more instruction for that online environment. We did a climate survey with our students in the spring, and our students were very pleased with the effort that faculty made to help them continue. So we want to continue with that momentum and support faculty with software or any other piece of technology they need to deliver high-quality instruction in the online environment. But we have over 400 sections that we are going to have to review and revise and reschedule for the fall semester. Where applicable, we want to put the information online. Where we need to be hands-on, engaging with a piece of equipment, we're going to have that instruction face-to-face. But I do want to really say how proud I am of our faculty. It was a difficult time. They did not have a lot of time, but I really felt like they rose. They stepped up for the students, and I'm very impressed with that.
Well, that's great. And when you started that, when you use that word dismantling, it's really scary, isn't it?
It is. Starting over, and it's a very manual process. I call it a labor of love because you have to touch every section. But we'll get there. We hope to have some final decisions mid-June, because I think it's important that we communicate to the community what our plan is for the fall so they can adequately prepare.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thanks for your being there and your encouraging words, and the staff and the team pulling together at RCC to making it happen. Let's talk, if we can, and we've got a few more minutes here. Where are we with the state budget, Mark?
Well, the state budget is that's probably the big elephant in the room, Mike. Right now, the General Assembly, and rightfully so, is looking at the current and how to make sure that our resources are adequate to get us through June 30th. They are beginning to meet and talk processes and some policies and those types of things, but they won't turn their attention to the budget until after July 15th, most likely, because the tax deadline was extended to July the 15th. And it's not until after that tax deadline that the General Assembly has a better feel for how much money they have to work with. Now, obviously, this pandemic is a serious issue financially. We are anticipating a pretty significant budget shortfall. They have, though, been pretty smart in putting money in a rainy day fund, and how much that's going to offset it, we don't know. The other issue is just like us as a college, the state has received stimulus money as well. And there is some question as to how that stimulus money can be used from a budget standpoint. So there's so many issues up in the air right now. So I do not envy our General Assembly and our governor for the work that they have to do to deal with this. But the budget is certainly a serious issue that we're concerned about. For us, what's going to be most critical is that we get our enrollment growth money. And so we had significant enrollment growth as a community college system last year. And when you have that type of growth, you need the money to be able to serve those students. So that's going to be our focus as we head into the budget picture. Okay.
Well, wish you all the best with that. Time is just about up. Maybe some closing thoughts. Sheila, Mark?
Well, I'll start with just asking the community to be patient. We're going to get our plans out there to them just as quickly as possible, and to let them know that we are ready to serve at the highest level.
Okay.
And Mike, I would echo that. That's what our intent is. And, of course, it all comes down to serving students and making sure that students feel comfortable about coming back, because that's going to be part of this recovery, is we have to make people comfortable with being back out. And so that's going to be a large responsibility for us.
Thank you both for your time on the program. I certainly appreciate it, and all the best to everyone there on campus.
Thank you, Mike, and we really appreciate the opportunity to do this. You do such a good job with it.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. You're an advocate for your college, and we appreciate it.
Well, we love Rockingham Community College, and on many, many levels, so thank you both. And I hope your meeting coming up here shortly goes well.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
See you.
All righty, our program originating from Rockingham Community College with Dr. Mark Kinlaw, President, and Sheila Regan, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Vice President for Academic Affairs at RCC. And a reminder also, you can find more information at rockinghamcc.edu.